Hi guys, welcome to Tanked Up. We are a weekly craft beer drinking, video game playing podcast. I'm joined, as ever, by Alex Malpass.
Right.
And Aadil Koji.
Hello.
I am Ben Nother. We're going to be drinking some beers and talking about some games.
Do you normally say craft beer drinking at the beginning?
He said it
I did it
time.
last week, yeah. I
And he
changed
called
it.
it a
I
special
changed it last
occasion.
week, so now I'm just going to say that every week.
Okay, fair enough.
And I made the really shitty joke about beers made by subsidiaries of the Craft Corporation.
Oh yeah, it's all flooding back to me.
Yeah.
How did I forget?
Just in case you also wish to relive the situation. This week we're going to talk about games we've been playing, beers that we're drinking, and we're going to have a discussion topic on morality.
Is that actually what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Did we decide that?
Morality in games, as a mechanic, or as a...
Morality is a mechanic.
the morality of certain parts of games.
That is the dog.
And Wilma the dog is going insane.
So yeah, she's amusing herself though. It's fine.
Yeah.
Got a bone.
So, let's chat about some beers.
Yeah. So this week we've got an Honest Brew instalment, and they gave us some Buxton beers as a discussion point because they like Buxton apparently, and I don't think any of us knows that much about Buxton. So
No, we had a couple the week before last. Or was it last week?
I think we had one last week.
No, Canada was last week.
Oh yeah.
So the week before we had a couple of Buxtons, but none of the ones that we've had
none
today.
of these. So we've got an India Red Ale, an India Pale Ale, a double IPA, and a black sour. So the order of my normal thing is like do the IPAs or the stouts last because everything else will be less.
Yeah, but we're kind of
3 IPAs essentially, and a
like
sour.
that maybe.
I mean,
Yeah, I would think the IRA, the IPA, the double IPA, and the black sour.
black sour.
Although I have
last.
no idea, I've never had a black sour. So how
No,
strong is
no,
the
I haven't.
taste?
No.
I've had a couple of sours and they're pretty fucking strong. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So leave your sours till last.
I think leave the sours to last just really because
Yeah.
I haven't had a good experience with sours. And
Okay.
I don't want to spoil the
rest of it.
potentially
Yeah,
nice.
so
Yeah,
IRA, IPA, double IPA, BS.
Yeah, I don't think IRA. I don't think anyone calls them IRAs.
We did it a few episodes ago.
You
As
did.
as a joke, maybe. Like, anyway,
This is apparently the callback episode.
Yeah.
yeah. So in India Red Ale, for all of those who are thinking,
What's it called? High Tor.
it's called Hightor there. All of them by Buxton. So let's see if they're any good.
We had an India Red. Was it Bristol Beer Factory
Yeah.
or New Bristol?
Yeah, maybe we did. It was called Flame.
It was.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. We weren't expecting its softness, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. I thought it would be a bit more hard hitting, a bit more punchy.
Especially with the name Flame.
Mm.
Okay, so it's very like deep.
It's actually red.
It is.
It's kind of red, yeah.
Well, it's-
Yeah, I suppose it is. For beer, that's as red as beer gets.
which is a difference from the last IRA.
Really nice nose.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's almost. Oh, I don't know.
Doesn't taste very hoppy at all.
No.
Oh,
Again, it's very light
But it's coppery.
in comparison to what you imagine it will be.
Mm.
It's a lot lighter.
It's almost. It reminds me. Yeah, I was gonna say it's got that. Reminds me a bit of the espresso stout in that sort of almost burnt caramelness.
Yeah, so that's the tiny trace of probably chocolate malt in there that has it's like really 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 dark. So it's just, you chuck it in a stout to make it black, whatever. That's there. It must be there. Along with I think there's this malt called Cara Red, which is probably what's giving it the redness. You might not want to leave that on the floor. I mean, there's a dog running around.
I'm watching. She's busy with the bone.
Yeah, okay. There's a table here.
Right.
Anyway,
Who's going to start us off?
I think you rarely start us off.
Okay.
And you say you've got a plethora of choice.
I have played several games this week. I've been playing a lot more Pillars of Eternity. It's still excellent.
Okay.
I thought I was maybe about halfway through, but I don't think I am halfway through. I've been doing a lot of side quests in the main sort of city area, or at least the biggest city area that I've come up to so far. It's very nice. Its decision making and how free it is to allow you to do what you want is really good. You could miss all of these side quests completely and just go out and grind rather than doing any of them. And it's just keeps sucking me in, which is good. Just
nice.
Playing that for a while, but I suppose the another game that I played.
Before we move on, just out of curiosity,
a question.
Are you? So you seem to be still enamored with it.
Yeah.
Have you come into new appreciation for mechanics or anything, or is it just that the storyline's compelling and the gameplay is solid? So that
I mean, the storyline's so. It's okay. It's I mean, I'm much more enamoured with the world and all of the different sort of side missions and things. I want to sort of seek out different characters and go through their story almost. And I think that keeps pulling me back, wanting to go and do all of these different things. I mean, a lot of it is, it's almost a lot of the same sort of stuff. Go to this place,
right.
Kill this person, do something, or deliver something, make a decision.
Standard fantasy.
Come away again and then have to, engage in some dialogue and things. It is nice. I don't know, it just pulls you in more just to experience what this world has, really. I did start I've been playing as a fighter. So I started another couple of games. I only played the first sort of hour through of a couple of different classes, and I picked Monk. It's like a melee fighter class, and then Paladin as well, which is sort of a bit more of a healery, tanky sort of. You know.
Are these separate characters or are these progression?
No, these are separate characters. So I started the game again as a different character class.
Oh, so you're actually lapping yourself.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I've only played the first hour of sort of as a different class, just to pick up different mechanics and see how the different classes play.
You sound like me in MMOs.
Yeah,
the first 10 levels 17 times and then get bored with the game because I'm sick of the quests.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I think with this, I keep going back to my main game as the fighter, just because I want to experience the world. I want to have that sort of almost a whole run through of the whole game, so I know what I've got to, what there is before I go around and play as a different class, I think. And I think it is such a big game that I'm not sure that I will pick up another class and play through. I think I'll start one and play a few hours of it. But as soon as something else comes along, like The Witcher 3, in about 2 weeks' time, I think I might be jumping to that. So, yeah. A few more hours sunk into that. I played one of the free PS Plus games this month, which is called Never Alone, which is a little puzzle platformer where you play as a native Alaskan
I
girl.
didn't realise that was on PS Plus.
Yeah, it's one of the games this month, so it's only available for another couple of days as of this recording. And the new ones normally drop sort of the 4th or 5th, something like that, so there's a little bit of time to pick one up. But yeah, you basically play through Alaskan folklore. You play through a few different stories of Alaskan folklore, and it's actually done by a native Alaskan
Inuit.
Sort of tribe in their council. They have created a game studio and got a game developer in to create this. To sort of the whole thing about it is passing down stories. So they're trying to go a bit more digital.
Which I think is really cool.
Which is really cool. And as you play through the game, you get various different video clips. So you might get a 30-second video clip of them saying, "Oh, this is why foxes are, great," because part of the game mechanics are that you're this young girl, but you have a fox sort of spirit animal, and they both have different abilities, and you switch between the two of them to be able to move through to be able to platform through the levels. And it's it's very short. I can't imagine I played it for any more than sort of 4 hours, if that. I think I did it in about 2 sittings. But it's very good. Little platformer, just something to sort of while away an afternoon with. If you have something free, I'm being eaten.
So
Thanks, Wilma.
There is a dog running around. I think we said there was a dog, but all that noise in the background was a dog chucking a thing around and playing with it. Maybe we should attach a picture of Wilma in the...
I think so.
pictures.
There'll be tweets of Wilma's face
Yeah.
eating someone's hand.
For those of you interested, Wilma's a miniature schnauzer. So, cool dog, but quite noisy and full of beans.
Ruckus.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Aadil, what have you played this week?
So, coming off of last week in our discussion of game worlds, I had a nostalgic pang for the world of big, oversized swords, giant summons, and crystals galore. And so I picked up the Vita and I started playing Final Fantasy X/10-2 HD Redux Vita Edition. Having said that, I'm only a couple few into Final Fantasy X, which I hadn't played since I lived with someone in undergraduate who had a PS2 and it was brand new, and we both played through. I still enjoy it. It's the graphics are really quite good. I can't really remember how much worse they might have looked on a TV on a PS2, but it looks really good on the gorgeous.
I mean, there was
OLED screen.
From what I can remember, it was obviously nowhere near as blocky as the previous games, but it was more along the sort of the lines of, in aesthetic terms, of something like Final Fantasy VIII, where it's a bit more of a real world sort of vibe to it. But I do remember on the PS2 version a lot of screen tearing and textures moving sort of between each other and the characters sort of popping in and out. So
so I'm enjoying rehashing the story. I have to say that I still hate Blitzball. For those of you who played it, you should be having... I would be surprised if you didn't have some pang of annoyance in remembering it. It's the sort of... Final Fantasy X has a time travel-y element, and one of the only constants is the sport Blitzball, and it's basically like volleyball/football
in a sphere.
In a sphere of water where you don't have to worry about drowning, but there's no explanation of how no one needs to worry about breathing.
Magic.
Yeah.
It's Final Fantasy, it's just magic.
And it's just, unfortunately, due to the sort of RPG action menu style engine, you just can't do this sort of very dynamic game easily. It's a lot of sending commands from a context menu, but trying to do that really quickly in a way that just doesn't quite work. And there's parts of the storyline that you have to do Blitzball. And it's really annoying that way. I mean, for the Blitzball player to get his ultimate weapon, you have to basically have a perfect season, I think. I can't really remember. I'm okay with that, right? That seems reasonable. But for the main plot to rely on this really clunky mechanic side thing is really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it as a concept. Blitzball, as such.
Yeah, Blitzball seems like a really fun game.
Yeah, but mechanically, it is very clunky. It's very heavy.
And because of that, and because FF10's basic narrative is some argued at the time, and probably still argue, is basically FF7 rehashed. I started FF7 on the Vita as well, and you know what? Those polygons are adorable.
It is one of my most favorite games ever.
Yeah, and it stands up. I know exactly what's going on in the plot, but I feel like I'm still kept in by the narrative. The world is really well developed. Fighting system is still solid. I mean, the newer Final Fantasies have trying to make it more dynamic and like action Devil May Cry-y. And I have no problem with the sort of, I think they called it active time system, where your bars continue
active
filling up.
System.
Yeah, ABS, that's right. Like the bricks. But yeah, so those two games... I'll start with that. It's just Final Fantasy. Who knew?
Nice. I know that they're bringing Final Fantasy VII to PlayStation 4.
Is that
but it's not any kind of redone HD super def version.
Because they did.
It is the same game,
Because on the
just able to run on the PS4.
the PS3 had a concept of the beginning
It did.
as
a tech demo,
as a
wasn't
tech
it?
demo,
Yeah.
and everyone was just like, "Oh my god!"
But Square Enix do this. They bring out a new engine and they just do a short tech demo and just say, "Well, let's make everybody really excited," and then just shut you fucking down.
I recently moved within Canada and got a bunch of my stuff that was in storage for years and years, and I have the original FF7 4-CD PC CD-ROM
Nice,
game.
I do as well.
I also have it on Steam, and I also have it on Vita. Because, yes, it is one of my favorite games, and it was on a PlayStation Plus sale or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I got it for cheap, and I was like, I would actually probably play this on the Vita in a way that I just haven't come back to it on the PC, because there's always something better in my Steam library if I'm sitting at my PC and want to fuck around. So yeah.
Nice.
Alex?
Well, I haven't played that much games this week, but should we have another beer?
Yeah.
And then
You can tell us what you've been revisiting.
Yeah.
As it is quite topical.
Is it?
The new one has been teased, and a trailer has come out for it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. But before we get to that, this is the Buxton Edge IPA. So hopefully this won't be as coppery as the last beer. I wasn't massively blown away by that India Red Ale.
I think I might just not be a fan of the type. Yeah. Although it does taste quite a bit different from the last one.
I made an India Brown Ale, which was in concept a bit similar to that.
Ibuprofen Advil.
Well, I mean, like a malty IPA is the idea, I suppose, with that type of beer. But the malt was like dominating a lot, and that was just a quite sort of a somewhat hopped brown ale, basically.
Yeah.
That was, or red ale, I suppose.
But it looks a lot lighter.
Oh,
this is
very
this
clear.
is an IPA, isn't it? Yeah, it's crystal clear, sort of orangey.
Sort of like a darker but same tonal area as apple juice, I would say.
Uh-huh.
There's not much nose to it.
No, not huge.
But
no.
there's a nice distinct hop.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know
there
what
is.
hop it is, but you can tell like there's just this nice flash of this hop is in here.
Yeah, it's a nice balanced fruity.
Ooh, I really like that.
flavor. Yeah, that's good.
We can make these noises with every beer, but that's good.
It's what are those fruits? It's not quite berry.
Yeah, but it's like it kind of is. I think almost.
It's not. Well, it's not.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm getting there.
No.
It's confused us.
Yeah.
It's berry-like, but I can't pick a single berry. It's definitely not Manilow.
That is a nice taste.
I really like this beer.
Yeah,
Right. So what have you played then, Alex? You kept us waiting.
Suspense.
So I played a couple of installments of Nazi Zombies with my friend online, who recently reawoken his Xbox Live subscription. Zach, who was around here the other day. Yeah. So we had a couple of games. Got so we played on Black Ops, and I downloaded Black Ops, not Black Ops 2. Aadil held up two fingers and a quizzical look on his face as if I was.
Did Black Ops 2 have zombies?
Yeah, I was trying to communicate.
I never
Was it
played
2?
I never played Black Ops 2, so it's the one I dropped out on.
Ghosts, is that the same thing?
No.
Ghosts came
Ghosts came after.
Black Ops 2.
Let me just check. I'm not even sure if I have Black Ops 2 then. Which is the new Black Ops that's about to come
3.
out?
Black Ops 3 is about to come out.
Yeah.
This is why it's a very topical game to be playing. Completely accidentally, but...
I'm literally looking at my games right now.
Yep.
I don't think I've got Black Ops 2.
Okay. So Black Ops 2 was the one that I didn't pick up, and I've not picked up a Call of Duty game since. I just didn't...
But you love Black Ops.
I really liked the first Black Ops, yeah, man. Yeah,
Why
it's
didn't
probably.
you go for Black Ops 2 then?
I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of the future setting.
Oh, was
sort
it
of-
in the future?
Yeah, or in the very near future, I think. But yeah,
I have
it
that same
started
problem.
down this line, and you had drones and different things like that to use. I seem to remember. I haven't played it, so maybe don't. But I think.
But original Modern Warfare had a couple of levels where you were essentially piloting a drone as was a 2-player level, like a split screen level where actually it wasn't.
You're
split
you're an
screen.
AC-130, aren't you? You're in a plane manning
That's
the
a drone.
guns, aren't you?
An AC-130 is a
No,
drone.
no, it's not.
How are you in a drone?
An
Well, I mean, you're
AC-130 is a
piloting
fucking.
a drone.
An AC-130 is a massive aircraft.
What does AC-130 stand for?
Aircraft.
Aircraft.
Aircraft 130.
Yeah.
130 aircraft.
No,
Really,
it can
mate.
hold 130
Guns.
something.
Yeah.
130 guns.
130 raisins. Definitely. In
130 military Unix.
But we played zombies only a few weeks ago, didn't we? And it's definitely one of those game modes that holds up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, we got to like when me and Zach were playing it, got up to like level 28, I think. On there's this level where you, it's one of the ones where there's a teleporter and a pack-a-punch machine, and there's a couple of levels like that. But this one has a special game sequence where if you've got a sniper rifle and look down a particular alleyway, then there's like a teddy bear in the distance. If you shoot the teddy bear, then you hear this weird girl's voice like crying out in pain, and then another teddy bear appears somewhere else in the level, like up really far in some of the like scenery, and you have to zoom in again and shoot that.
Oh.
Shoot another one somewhere else.
I
and
don't
then-
know anything about this.
And then something else happens. I mean, it might be worth getting it on the go later and see if you can like do this. But you need to get a crawler, so there's the torso of a zombie crawling around really slowly, and you can just effectively have as much time as you need to do stuff.
Yeah, at the end of a
'Cause
round.
in the middle of a round, there's no way you don't
Right.
want the sniper rifle in the middle of a round either.
Yeah.
I mean, after like it's quite easy up to about level 10. It's like, yeah, this is just like autopilot, nothing to worry about. Then level 14, 15, the guns, even headshots, not really doing anything.
Yeah.
And once it gets up to like level 18, level 20, it starts being like, fuck, we really need to have a system. You can be like corralling them if you spin round in an area circling round. They'll follow you. So you can
And they
have,
magically
like,
catch up with each other, so they're a tight pack.
yeah, that's right. It's weird. So you have like a train of zombies following behind you, which is okay. It doesn't really help you kill them. You have to sort of run backwards.
Yeah,
and shoot at
make sure
them
you
as
don't
go
clip
along,
into
but-
a chair or something.
Yeah.
Just won't move.
So yeah, I was enjoying that. Got quite a lot of time out of it. It's not going to last forever. I mean, there's only so much, and then after a while, you think like, I've been playing this game for like 3 hours, and all the sound is like, and it's quite relentless. After a while, there's no like bling or music or anything like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Do you think you're gonna... Because there's a zombie mode.
Yeah,
teased
so
in
I
the trailer,
I
right?
understand there's a zombie mode for Black Ops 3.
Does that entice you at all, given that you seem to have skipped 2? Or do you
Um,
think that 1's probably...
I did enjoy the trailer for Black Ops 3 that I watched the other day. So
The Deus Ex-esque.
I'm not sure how much I would be willing to shell out for it these days. I mean, what is it when it comes out? It's going to be like
45 quid, yeah.
45 quid. I'm not sure.
Oh, but
I was thinking of buying a snooker cue, and it's about 45 quid. I'm not sure which one I want more right now.
Ooh, so snooker cue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Having said that, you might be able to get off of Amazon or eBay 2, Black Ops 2 for really
That's
cheap.
true.
It usually happens when people are like, well, don't need this anymore.
It does, but then there's even one. We've got Advanced Warfare as well, haven't we? So
Yeah.
Black Ops 2 might be cheap already because it is the redundant. It's the previous
I'd
game.
probably
It's not the
trade in
current.
Advanced Warfare for Black Ops 2.
Really?
In fact, if anyone's
Yeah.
listening and doesn't want their copy of Black Ops 2, I'll probably give them a copy of Advanced Warfare, which is shit.
On the 360.
But for, if you're thinking about swapping with it, it's quite good actually. So it's worth swapping.
Yeah, I've only played a little bit of the Advanced Warfare multiplayer, but it wasn't enough to pull me back in. When I jumped to Battlefield, I've sort of just stayed there, really.
Yeah.
Are you contemplating the hardline the lack of field battlefields.
Yeah, I've not even really thought about it. I never even thought about picking it up.
It just seems like they're abusing the name at this point.
I mean,
it's very.
They could have. I suppose they had a mode where they thought, we could do cops versus robbers as such, and then they've just stolen the Battlefield name to put it on because people know that.
Yeah,
and it uses the same engine and the same mechanics and things. So
right, but
it is a Battlefield game as such in terms of mechanics and engine
all Unreal
and
engine
architecture.
Games are Unreal games.
Yes.
It just strikes me as odd because they're also shifting towards. It seems like more of a focus on the plot as well. It seems like there's an actual single-player campaign in Hardline, from what I understand, and that's not how Battlefield works.
No, but there was a single-player campaign in the other
all
games.
these
They've been
have
shite.
It seems like they're trying to improve the single-player experience,
right?
But then suddenly you're making the story matter. You are not in a battlefield. It just seems a little odd.
Yeah.
And to be honest, new IP is good.
It is.
And
it is.
It looks like this is new IP, and they're badging it as not new IP, and that's just sad.
It's fine, but it is. But you've got a base of however many million people who play Battlefield games,
and they wouldn't buy another game from the same developer.
True.
Do they really think
Do you
we're
think
that
the
shit?
name maybe? Yeah. Does the name mean something?
Yeah.
They obviously think so.
Yeah. Can I just say, going back to this beer before we move on to the next one? Very low residual bitterness for an IPA.
Yeah, it does do its thing and then retreat.
It's more like American Pale Ale style. I mean, it's
Actually,
quite hoppy and really nice fruits, and then doesn't give you that residual bitterness.
Actually, when you say that, it reminds me of a sort of a stronger foretaste of the West Coast Pale Ale we had last week. The Cutthroat was very nuanced and it faded away. And this is sort of more in your face, but fades away in a very, very similar way.
Yeah, that's true. I prefer this.
Yeah, I mean, I like the strong taste.
Yeah.
Says the guy who was like, yeah, the espresso stout's the best one. Surprise, surprise. Ben, any other games on your docket?
I do have another game, but we look like we need another beer.
Yeah, we do. Let's have another beer. So now we're going to have a double IPA. Or deeper. Does anyone say that?
A deeper IPA?
As in D-IPA. Deeper.
Ooh, I see what you mean.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a thing.
It is now.
I don't think anybody says that.
Deeper.
I think it's an IPA.
Are you going deeper?
Going deeper underground, to quote Jamiroquai. Why not?
What's this one called?
Number 4.
Nth Cloud?
Nth Cloud, which is a pretty random name.
Yeah, very.
I mean,
What's the arbitrary cloud?
yeah. Who knows? Are they mathematicians, and what's the name of the science that studies clouds? Anyone? There is a...
Climatology? Or are you thinking
No,
like
meteorology?
computer science?
No.
The cloud?
No, that was a terrible, terrible joke.
No,
There
what's
is
really sad is I thought when I read the word cloud of the cloud before clouds. That's
Well,
what's
maybe
sad.
that's what they mean. I don't know. Maybe that's what
Well,
the cloud is.
there is a picture of some rocks and a cloud on the bottom.
I think they just mean actual clouds. I think there's a name for the science of clouds.
And it's not climatology?
No,
It's something
that's
more
the
specific?
science of climate. And clouds are a bit of climate.
So I do notice that the bottles, the image that accompanies the name is they sort of match each other. So on the High Tour, which we just had, the IPA, the IRA in fact, the High Tour, there is a picture of a tor which is quite big. On Nth Cloud, there's a picture of rocks and clouds. On the Wolfscote, which is the black sour, there are pictures of wolves. On the Axe Edge, which was the IPA, there's no axes. Acorns?
I think those are hops.
Yeah.
There you go.
I see the
Acorns,
acorn
mate.
bottle.
Green acorns, green fluffy.
That's it.
They're hops.
That's all I got.
I was just curious
No
if
axes.
That's kind of weird.
well, it's also weird that it's importation
Labels?
label says imported into Australia by.
I think they just write those on all of them.
Yeah, so presumably their
Just
main
in
markets
case.
are England and Australia then.
So also, it
I
looks
guess.
as if the labels have changed somewhat because they've got different information on that one versus this one. And this one was bottled the High Tour, which has different information on the Nth Cloud. We're only bottled a month apart. They've obviously changed their labelling slightly.
This one says imported by Shelton Brothers, Belchertown, MA. What's that, Massachusetts?
I suppose it just depends where they get them from at the time. We're giving away all of their trade secrets.
Surely Buxton is brewed in the UK.
It says brewed and bottled by Buxton Brewery, Buxton, England. This is why I brought up the Australia thing. It just seems weird that they're...
Well, yeah, maybe it's just a generic thing that they put on all the labels. Anyway, what were we talking about?
This has been label talk.
The beer.
The label podcast. We're drinking Nth Cloud Double IPA right now.
Yep. Similar colour to the previous IPA.
A little darker, but just as clear, I'd say.
On inspecting the bottle, it says a Simcoe and Mosaic hop laden double IPA, and both of those hops are really, really cool, really nice. Big. I mean, Mosaic is supposed to have like lots of shit going on, really complex hop. Simcoe is.
Its nose is actually really light. Sorry.
Yeah, Simcoe is a really nice, like classic IPA edition. It's really clean, bitter and hop. I really like both of those hops. So I'm expecting this to be good. Haven't had any yet. Too busy talking.
Give it a smell, like you said. Like I said,
the
it's
nose is really light.
Yeah, it is very light.
It's like,
but that flavour, that's big. That's
Oh,
very
wow.
big.
Oh, that's great. That is a great, great beer.
Wow, the nose gives nothing.
Yeah, completely.
It's such a subtle nose. It's a little bit of honey almost, and that's about it. You don't even really get a lot of hops or citrus off the nose, and then you get this gorgeous, almost velvety feeling.
It sits well.
It's quite sweet because a lot of double IPAs are sweet. You do taste the alcohol. It's 8.2%. That it's there in the background. It's like the last thing, like sort of with the bitterness. A bit more bitterness in this, not a whole lot more, but more than the last one. But you can taste underneath the bitterness. There's a bit of that like alcoholic flavour going on. I think it's noticeable. Not in a bad way. I mean, it should be noticeable in the double IPA.
But yeah, you're right. You can taste it a lot more than the Axe Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's very good.
It's really, really nice though.
I'm going to luxuriate in this beer a while. Ben, you tell us the next set of game.
Sit back
Set
and
of
set
game.
of game. The next set of game I have played.
Which is fine, because
They're badges.
we're talking about mathematical sets, which can have a singleton.
A singleton is a set. Yeah, nice. So that's good for all of those math geeks out there.
That is my mathematical recovery of a linguistic slip.
You've
We're
done
so
well.
glad that
You've
you
definitely
recovered
done
that
well.
Yeah, because I was thinking, Jesus, he's made a gaff there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Better recover from it. But you did, so that's good. That's good.
So, I have dabbled with Heroes of the Storm, which is MOBA. I've never played a MOBA before. It's a massively online battle arena, I think.
I'd never heard that term.
So this is by Blizzard.
There's a new Blizzard game?
Yeah, called Heroes of the Storm. It's in beta at the moment.
Oh, that's fine.
But it's a MOBA, which is the same as like Dota or League of Legends.
Those shitty games with the terrible communities. I mean...
I think there's another one that's come out called Smite, which my younger brother is playing as well, which he really enjoys.
Does that stand for it might be good?
I think with Smite, they're all gods. So you play as one of the gods.
So you can't die.
I don't think you die in any of these MOBAs. You just regenerate, don't you?
So
one of the things with Heroes of the Storm is that you play as a notable character from one of the Blizzard games. So a notable character from Diablo, World of Warcraft, or StarCraft.
Oh, so you could be like the Lich King.
Yeah.
Or I don't know any other. Again, think of
so
any
they've.
other.
I mean, there's around maybe 20 odd different characters that you can play as.
So there's like 7,000 Lich Kings running around?
No, so it's 5 and 5. You are one of these characters which has different abilities and things, and basically you are in a battleground and you have to move through it. It gives you the same sort of camera angle as you get on a football game.
Oh.
So by battleground you mean there's two armies
Like-
fighting,
Yeah.
and you're a soldier moving through this.
Exactly. So you're almost a hero of this army. So you've got different men which you don't control, which generate by themselves, which will go and attack the enemy's guys, or once they reach a set of walls and a gate and some keeps and things that want to keep you away from the stronghold's sort of heart, which is what you've got to destroy to win the game. They sort of control themselves, but you can do different things. So the character I was playing, one of his abilities is to buff these characters so they get better attack as they go, and then another one of the abilities is to do a special attack which takes down more, life out of people and stuff. And I've only played through the tutorial rounds and only a couple of rounds. For the beta, there was only I think 5 characters that I could pick from.
Was this is this an open beta, or is this did you have to do some magic application-y process?
I was sent a code from a website because I registered my interest, and they just said, "Here's a code."
Okay, so I'm just wondering for the listeners' benefits if they could experience this, or if they're going to have to wait until.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether people have to wait now, whether there was a limited amount of codes, or whether you can still shout this website or various websites that give them out and stuff, or whether you're a Blizzard and you already have an account with some of the other games like Diablo 3 or World of Warcraft or something.
Maybe we'll put an update on the blog when you find out.
Blog? We have a blog?
We have a website.
We have a
I imagine.
It's a blog.
Yeah, I imagine with our website we can post written documents, which we've never done.
Yeah,
but we may be able to.
I would just assume
we'll probably put it on the Facebook page
or Facebook. Yeah, that was it.
Right,
this is
all the
baseball.
social medias.
I felt very early 2000s there saying blog when I should have said Twitter.
No, you should have said vlog.
Yeah, mate. We'll just film one of us just
flog
talking for a moment.
Well, we'll flog someone for saying that they could find out more.
Oh, that's what's going to happen if Ben's wrong and you can't join the beta. We will have a live stream on Twitch, watching him twitch in anticipation of the flogging.
It's a different podcast you're on now. This is the flogging.
That's definitely a slightly more sexy podcast. That's
Stay tuned. Welcome to the Tanked Up Network.
I accidentally said deep throat last week, but that doesn't mean that
I forgot about that.
Turned a
all
corner
the
and now
innuendos, all the innuendos. Every week there's innuendos.
In whose endo?
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, it's if you like things like League of Legends or Dota or Smite.
So how big are the maps then?
They're not very big. They only take you maybe 10 seconds to traverse.
Oh wow!
10 seconds to traverse between sections. So there's maybe 4 sections. So you've almost the maps that I played on are almost diamond shaped, and you have paths that move through. So you've got your base, your sort of front line, which is a set of gates, a central area, the enemy's front line, and then their base in the middle.
So I don't really understand what the point of it is. Like, so if you're not controlling the army,
you're just controlling one character.
You're like a general.
You run around almost. So it's almost like think of a third-person action game where you're running around as Batman, right? And you're playing the Batman game. But then think of the Batman
where you're Batman.
So think of that game
yes.
with a camera which is of like a football game.
Yeah.
So you're seeing it at that angle.
Right.
But you can still run around as Batman, doing all of the things that Batman does.
Okay.
Transfer that.
Wait, Batman's in a war.
Batman's not in this game.
So, this is Batman May Cry.
I'm
trying to relate it to something
I'm thinking about Batman. I'm thinking about football camera angle.
So Batman's playing football, right?
Yes, it's FIFA 2015.
He fucking hates everyone.
Batman May Cry edition, I think is what you're trying to say, yeah?
Exactly. His parents are dead and he's pissed. He's got all this money and doesn't know what to do with it.
I have all this money, but I can't buy Mom and Dad back.
So I'll play football in a war zone. That makes sense.
Except
it's a good plot. I like this. It should be a film.
All surrounded by Blizzard.
An actual Blizzard?
An actual Blizzard. Well, there is a Blizzard in Neverland alone, so we've come around.
Nice.
I'm curious. I'm going to have to look up some gameplay footage. That's the word, footage.
I mean, do
you know when it's slated for release?
No, not a clue. I did read through I scanned the user agreement to make sure there weren't any NDAs on it. It said You can't talk about this under any circumstance. Otherwise, Blizzard will fucking destroy your life. I'm not really disclose that much. I'm probably okay.
Yeah, and for what it's worth...
Plus, no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. So
Yeah, I was going to say.
Legally speaking, I literally don't know anything about the game, so any comments that I've said may be only taken out of context.
But they could get banned for misconstruing the game as FIFA Batman May Cry edition.
I mean, it's good if you can go onto the beta. It's a nice game to play for a little bit to understand the mechanics. It's something like League of Legends and Dota. The bigger MOBAs seem so intimidating to get into, and it's just something that I don't really want to play. And as you said, the communities behind them are fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
So this is almost a nice easing into this sort of genre of game, something that I've not picked up and played before.
Yeah, I didn't even know they had a genre. Okay, I know Dota and LoL as Dota and LoL.
Yeah.
I didn't really consider them what they sit at. If we have any talented Photoshoppers in the audience, we would welcome a mock-up of FIFA Batman May Cry edition, because that just makes me giggle inside.
Done. My lunch hour tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to win this.
lunch hour, just the normal bit of your work.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
When no
I really
Just
enjoyed
10
that.
in the morning, emails are done.
I really enjoy the fact that we made
Photoshop
fun of
Batman.
him losing his parents, and it's the Batman May Cry edition. Sorry.
Right, we shall move on,
Yes.
and very swiftly ask Aadil, because he's played one more game, I believe.
Yeah, I've played Antechamber, which is a indie third-person puzzler,
Okay.
which I played on and off and finally beat because I remembered it was there. Oh, and there's another game. Yeah. Antechamber is basically it challenges the. So it's basically you are a first-person perspective. It's mostly a very flat, white world, corridors, etc. But it really challenges. So the whole point is to figure out the paths between rooms, and every time you get to a new room, there's a little picture which describes a story, which is ostensibly the developer's story. So once you've explored all the paths, you get all the panels, and you can read them in order.
Okay.
And little sort of comic panels with sort of aphorisms. When you click on the picture, an aphorism appears. But it really challenges the gaming conventions on how these worlds look and feel. For example, I will reveal one of the solutions to a puzzle. You go through a hallway, you turn a corner, walk down the hallway, and there's a blue staircase up and a red staircase down. If you go down up the blue staircase, you enter a hallway, turn the corner, and there's a blue staircase up and a red staircase down. And that continues. If you go down the red staircase, you find a hallway, you turn the corner, and there's a blue staircase up and a red staircase down. And you will continue doing this loop over and over. And spoiler alert, hit the iTunes fast forward 15 seconds button twice if you don't want to hear the answer. But if you turn around and retrace your steps, the hallway you came through is not the hallway you see now. And now there's a green hallway which takes you out of the room on a different path.
Okay, cool.
And there's a whole...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Hit the button.
Well
late.
Yeah, but and basically there's a whole bunch of different puzzles surrounding these notions we take for granted in first person. So you have to think outside of the box in order to solve these puzzles. Otherwise, you're going to go a little mad. And it's just really fun. It's a nice little brain stretch. It's not too long of a game. Technically, it has a timer as soon as you start, and you need to finish by 1 hour and 30. But after the timer expires, I think you get an achievement that basically says "fuck time" or something like that. It's not that.
Gratuitous.
Thank you. That's the G word. I was going to say graphic. I'm like, that's not right. So you can continue and whatever. But in fact, apparently, I just found out that there are speed runs on YouTube because apparently you can do it really quickly. Because you sort of can skip between rooms in really weird ways. But yeah, it really so even the simple thing about jumping across a pit is not as simple as you think. Walls might not be walls, etc. Really fun. It's only a few quid on Steam. Definitely recommend. It's one of my favorite first-person experiences in a while. And as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm a bit of a first-person gamer, but less so on the standard COD Battlefield format.
Yeah.
and then I'll quickly touch on the last game I played,
Which will bleed into the topic, actually.
which is GTA 5, which came out on PC finally. However, the PC I have is a 2013 i7 8GB MacBook Air. And it turns out when you boot camp that and put GTA 5 on, it will run at 800 by 600 with not a lot of graphics, but there will be mouse lag, which makes it really kind of shitty. Because I had played on Alex's 360 the first few missions and some of the online, and it just wasn't quite responsive enough. I couldn't quite get the mouse sensitivity between my mouse's settings and the game's mouse settings to really be responsive enough. I'm shit with controllers, but the first mission, the tutorial mission where you have to go kill the cops after leaving the robbery, I don't think that's a spoiler because it's the very beginning.
It's almost 18 months old as well.
Yeah. So
if you haven't played GTA 5,
yeah.
you're dead to us.
Yeah, and how did you find this podcast?
Yeah. I did reasonably okay when I played that with the controller, which I'm shit with, but I kept missing simple shots just because my mouse was just not responsive.
So it might be that if you've got a slightly older computer, then GTA 5 is a bit strenuous on the system, and it'd probably be better on even one of the previous generation consoles.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
They say their minimum spec just mentions
Computer.
ATI and NVIDIA graphic charts, and of course I have the onboard HD 5000 Intel chip.
Yeah.
And I match all the other specs, surprisingly the min specs, but my little Vampire RAM card just doesn't quite have the juice.
Mm.
I mean, I mean, everything's jaggy because I don't have any aliasing. I have low res. It's almost playable, but it just seems like something's just not quite fast enough. I don't see screen tearing or anything. I don't seem to have a low FPS, but it's just not responsive.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate because I thought I could eke out a few missions before I return home and get my gaming PC. And this
I mean, my gaming PC is a couple of years old, so it'd be interesting to.
What kind of card do you have?
I have
One of those, yeah.
an AMD Phantom 2 processor and what's the card I've got? It's an NVIDIA GTS 600 series, 600 and something series.
I think it might be okay, actually.
So yeah, I mean, it would just be interesting to see how that compares to what you're getting on your MacBook of a similar sort of
I think
similar
you
age.
can go on Game Debate and put in what your specs are and what the game is, and it'll tell you how good your console is.
Yeah,
cool.
or can I run this, I think is another... Anyway, so...
Then I will know.
Yeah.
A small amount of research done.
So, you naturally hinted that would take us into our topic, so...
I think we should open another beer first.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. To that topic.
We should.
It's the Black Sour, which I've got to say I'm not really looking forward to.
Wolfscote.
It's
called.
Or Wolfscote.
Think.
Wolfscote. I don't know.
It is a 3.3% alcohol by volume. I think it'll be the weakest beer of the night.
Yeah.
But it probably will have the strongest taste, we're thinking.
So I had, me and Sam went to Colonel in London last year, and I had a raspberry sour that they made. And Colonel are one wonderful brewery. Like, pretty much everything they do is amazing. This was horrible.
Really?
The sour that I had, yeah. I mean, it was like...
Did it sound like it?
No. I think we left half the pint.
Really?
Oh, I mean, you left
Just
the
in disgust. Just, no. How dare you?
I did leave there, but with a massive bag full of beers. But I didn't think to myself, oh, I'll have one of those raspberry sours. So this being a black sour, I just can't see this being nice. But let's drink it anyway and see what happens.
We shall see.
I mean, if this is better than the double IPA that we just had, I'll be amazed.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yep.
Right, there we go.
It's dark. It's black.
It's very fucking dark.
It's not quite as dark as the espresso stout. It looks like it's
that's true.
It's not as.
So what is it,
it's not as
250
viscous
on
as
the-
what,
something like that. I don't know.
Sorry.
It's not. It's basically opaque, isn't it? But
Hey,
around
it's-
the edges, you can.
I'm
see
saying,
it.
even in low light, you get a little sense of it. of light going through, so it's sub-opaque.
It smells weird.
You sound like a child having like a new
weird.
cuisine for the first
I
time.
don't like broccoli. It looks weird.
It's just carrots. Just
Oh, it does
roasted.
smell a little weird. What is that?
Yeah, it's
That's
It is
the
sour.
smell of oncoming
Mm.
horrible taste.
But it doesn't
That's
smell
what it is.
like a sour berry or something, or like even sour candy. It smells like soured, if that makes sense.
not
I'm getting
quite
that,
like gone off milk.
Yeah, but close, right? Like it smells kind of like something
Almost,
on the way
almost.
out, right?
Yeah,
You know what? To me, it just smells like a stout. It smells like a Guinness.
Oh, I
it doesn't
disagree.
smell like Guinness.
That's what I'm getting from it.
No, there's definitely a sourness in that nose that Guinness just doesn't
Yeah,
have.
doesn't. Yeah, but underneath there's the dark malty. Kind of Ben's dipped in. He's gone.
Wait. Shall we do first reactions one at a time? This seems interesting.
That's odd as fuck.
All right.
Odd as fuck.
you wanna go
However,
next,
however
or do you
odd
want
me to?
fuck can
Why
be,
not?
that is it.
Is this the King cast or not?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Is it odd as
I
fuck?
don't know. It's not that bad, I suppose, but it's
It smells as it tastes.
No, it tastes much stronger in the sourness.
You think?
Oh yeah.
it's nowhere near as sour as the raspberry sour kernel that I had.
There is a lot of.
Oh, I don't like that either.
Is sourness a word? Because that
Sourness
definitely
is a word,
describes
yeah,
this.
It's
There's
not-
a lot
not
of
that surprising,
sourness.
is it?
it's not like having like a half pack of Sour Patch Kids in a quick sitting. That sort of intense sourness.
Mm.
It's not far off. I mean, I was
Like in
getting
the sense that like
like
your
cheap
taste buds
stuff.
aren't burning.
So dry as well.
so dry.
It's
Yeah.
almost like black metal has sucked the life out of you.
You know, the only sort of the finish is just dryness in your mouth, a little lingering sour, not a lot. The finish actually reminds me a little bit of really sour cherries. That's sort of the lingering taste of those.
The more I'm drinking it, the more it tastes like a very mid-range cider.
oh,
So it's
That's true.
I'm getting a lot of blackthorn, which isn't a good thing.
It kind of is like a really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
dry
you're right.
cider. Yeah.
although visually
It's very
nothing
dry.
like.
It's really
Yeah.
dry.
It's as dry as a very dry cider. That's true. It's a very dry thing. If you have a big mouthful of
Fizzy.
it, it's like
It is actually really fizzy.
Mm.
That's I don't know if the microphone caught the droplet noise of me being surprised by the fizziness and upturning the glass in the sense the liquid
Sending
sloshed
it back.
and it made a bloop noise, but that's what did it. It was the fizziness.
Right. So
So,
in this mood that we're in, the sour mood we're now in, we shall discuss very briefly, as all of our discussion topics end up being, morality.
in beers.
Morality in beers.
This is
How
immoral.
dare this beer?
Yeah. If there was an immoral beer,
Morality in games. I'm going to let Aadil kick off.
sure. So I guess.
Should we define morality first?
Oh, Jesus. Jesus is morality in games.
That's right.
Basically, if
Are there religious games? Do you get like, you know, you
There's
have
got to be religious.
Oh.
There's got to be religious
No, but like,
games.
you know, there's religious music, like
And
Jesus Rock
movies.
and whatever. Like, do you have those
No.
games where you have to
There's probably a lot of
feed the
there's probably a lot
5,000
of
or
people
whatever
who
it
are
is?
very religious who don't allow their children to play any games
Apart
unless
from-
they're a religious-based game.
Well, so that you learn, like, the books of
Parables.
the New
But yeah,
Testament.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. It's
I'm-
not anything I've ever delved into.
we will
Maybe
look
we
into
should
this.
make a game like that, because it would
I was
probably
gonna say-
sell really well in America, where people like games and the Bible.
Maybe we should get some kind of religious person in to help us.
Oh no, we won't.
Or is
do
this
that.
just purely from an atheist point of view?
Cynically. There's no
Oh.
God anyway, it doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah, but I mean,
Do
You
what
just
I like.
walk and fall off a cliff and it ends and just goes, well, that's it.
yeah.
That is it. Well
Yeah,
done.
why did I die in this game? It was meant to be. It's God's will. We need to make the game God's will, where just shit happens. I'm sorry, we're getting a little off topic.
Piano out of the sky, dead. God's will.
Yeah, I like the idea of a game where, like, you die once, and then it, like, doesn't let you play it anymore. There's a file in there that stops it ever loading.
Like literally a permadeath?
Yeah, that's it. You have to enjoy the game, and you just get this brief glimpse of, what are the game mechanics? Oh shit, I've died!
You've just walked in front of a bus,
yeah.
done.
Yeah, the disc self-destructs or something. That's it.
No, yeah,
Instant corrupt file.
It invalidates the Steam key, and you have to... And then, yeah...
You'd have to buy it again.
No. So you can buy different editions of the game, right? But if you buy the Hindu version of the game, you start up again, but in a different situation. Oh, God. Quite. So when we say...
why did we pick morality as a topic?
I think theology is a topic, actually. But,
theology. So, morality sort of came about as a game mechanic in things like Fable, where you could pick the strictly morally right or strictly morally wrong answer. Like, this is obviously the good thing, so you get good points. This is obviously the bad thing, so you get bad points. And then we get things like The Force Unleashed, similarly, light side, dark side decisions.
Infamous. Almost very similar, light side, dark side.
Yeah. But actually, that reminds me, in SWATer, Star Wars, The Old Republic, the MMO, I played as a Jedi initiate, and I had a real problem with a couple of those choices, because I was like, well, this isn't obviously the wrong thing to do. Like, there's
Makes it a bit more ambiguous.
No, because you got light side points for doing something which seemed to be, to me, not the best thing.
Okay.
And it was just really interesting to be like, oh, there's an absolutist morality underlying this that is just dictated by what the developers thought.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of games which allow these choices, but it doesn't seem like they do a lot. So, have either of you played the Mass Effect series?
Yeah.
So, what was your experience with Mass Effect 3?
The one I haven't played.
Oh.
In the other games, well, it's, I suppose similarly to several role-playing games, you normally have maybe 3 choices to make in any kind of dialogue situation, and you've got the nice choice. Was it another swill of beer?
Sorry, I had a bigger gulp.
That's a good face, though. That's a good face. Yeah, so you have a choice which is very obviously the nicest thing to do. One that's sort of very middling, and one that's the meanest thing to do.
Is it like feed a kitten, don't feed a kitten, or kill a kitten?
Exactly. And yeah, it's very easy to pick which side that you go on, and you may get some arbitrary points, or like in Star Wars, you get the Old Republic. You get various points which unlock different abilities and things, I think.
It's similar with Spider-Man games as well, some of the more recent Spider-Man games.
Really?
Or at least one of them, not some of. One of which had the black suit in it.
Was that the future one, where you were 4 different Spider-Man?
It was the one before that.
Spider-Man's...
Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, and depending on your choices, you would basically get your regular suit version would have more abilities versus your black suit one, which would be meaner.
It's something similar in Infamous, where the character's appearance changed slightly depending on which side you jump towards.
I really enjoyed that. I find it so clunky because it's there's no middle ground. Like, you will do yourself a disservice in these sort of infamous Star Wars Spider-Man things, because you will never go through these trees. Like, you need to play it as purely good or purely evil.
Yeah, you don't pick what you may pick in a certain situation because you want to achieve, the top tier of upgrades or something.
Well, and in fact, the game will be much harder if you just do things that are around what you might think.
Yeah.
Because you will get just kind of a shit version of all the powers. And then at the end game, you need a good version of some power, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pillars of Eternity do it quite nicely, because irrelevant of how you treat the characters and how you decide to be in terms of dialogue or whether you kill a character or not. You still gain experience. You might gain different reputation points in different cities, which might unlock an extra mission or something like that. But it's your playthrough of the game, so you play it through how you wish to play it through. And if you don't see that extra mission, you don't even know it's there. Whereas with something like Infamous, I seem to remember having it. Every mission you sort of have to do to progress through the game. So they can't lock certain things off dependent on how or they could lock certain things off, like different abilities and things. But it just seems with Pillars of Eternity that it's a bit more ingrained, and it actually, you play sort of, or at least that I played, how I think I would play.
Yeah.
Not sort of trying to be a role.
And I think that's...
Not being good in every decision that I make and thinking, actually, I don't fucking like this guy. He's only going to give me 100 gold for doing this thing, whereas if I kill him now, I can just be well mercenary and get 300 gold and stuff like that. So it's
moral choice. I mean, seems like with these, as a game mechanic, morality is like utility. It's just, is this useful to me?
Yeah.
Is it better? Do I get a bonus if I do this?
So I think
do the thing that it's just another way of choosing the best path through the game.
And I think that's the reason why I sort of wanted to talk about it, was because we have games, and I'm really glad to hear Pillars of Eternity is like this, where morality got introduced to gaming in a very hacked on game mechanic way. So in Infamous, especially in these sort of third-person action games like Force Unleashed, Spider-Man, Infamous,
Spider-Man makes it sound like a surname.
I know, that's why I like
Give
it.
me Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man. This is why I say it, yeah. But it actually interrupts the flow of the game and brings up most of the game you're playing the character moving around, doing actions, going through the linear or sandboxy plot, whatever, and you are the person. And then suddenly a menu appears in front of you and says, "What do you want to do?" And that's just not in line with the rest of the game.
Okay.
It feels really tacked on because it's a gameplay mechanic that doesn't sit on the same level as everything else. It pulls you back. Now you're not the guy. You're a guy directing the guy. Well, I guess in Pillars of Eternity, if it's based more on actions that you do,
well, it's almost everything you do will have an effect on
and
how moral the character, and the morality of the character.
But what's the point of being moral? I mean, that question itself means it's a utilitarian way of looking at it. But is it better for you because it makes it easier, or it unlocks stuff in the game, or whatever?
No, it doesn't. With Pillars of Eternity, it doesn't, or at least how I play, it doesn't seem to have much of an effect at the moment. So something's slightly blocked off. So rather than having, if I'd have done a mission in a certain way and I'd have spared the life of somebody, I might have got reputation with a house. The next time I go to them, if they give me a mission, there might be a dialogue choice which opens up something completely different to just the standard dialogue choice. But to be able to pick that dialogue choice, I need to have a reputation with them of a certain amount.
Right. So, they could have made the choice non-moral. Do you choose the red sword or the blue sword or something? And if you do, then it opens up this dialogue thing if you choose, because they really like red swords or something. So it's just an arbitrary choice. It doesn't matter. The fact that they call it a moral choice is just a way of choosing pathways through the game.
But I think the point is that you don't know what choices will matter later
but that's fine. I mean, but that's nothing to do with morality, though, is it?
No, sure it does, because if you don't know that this is going to have a thing, you just choose based on yourself rather than some projected thing. Like in Force Unleashed, you know for a fact I'm making bad decisions, so I can get Force Choke and lightning.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now. As it is just sort of utility. You're doing it because it opens up.
Is that
extra bits for you, and it's it's essentially is just a game mechanic.
Yeah, because the
of,
whole point
of a different way of making decisions.
Yeah, exactly. So if you take GTA for instance, any GTA game, you can be hideously immoral, punching strangers and flame rounding them or whatever, doing whatever you want, getting hookers and then running them over and getting your money back and things like that. Stupidly immoral acts that you do. I mean, that's sort of an attractive point of the game, is that everybody does these things, it's funny or whatever. The game parameters. I would never do any of those things in real life. But I would definitely do them on GTA. It's like
right, but GTA
the
doesn't.
point of like morality doesn't really work in a game setting. You could bring it in and make.
I don't think that's true at all.
Seems to me it's a tortured way of making you have to choose pathways through the game. It's not...
I'm precisely saying that it's a shitty mechanic when it's as blatant as Fable does as Star Wars.
Okay, so it seems to me there's two options. It's either a way of you picking something that goes through the game, or it's an irrelevant.
No, that's not true. Right, so Papers, Please is probably the best moral game I've ever played. And we've talked about it a little bit on a previous podcast, but roughly you are a border guard in a
Eastern European,
pre-fall of the wall fictional country, and your job is to patrol the borders based on the current bureaucratic rules. But you need to get through. You have a family at home, and you need to make the more people you process in your limited daytime, the more money you get, which is odd for it's a bit capitalistic now that I think about it. But and on the first day you go home, you have to choose whether your family starves or is cold, because you have to you cannot afford food and heat, and you can play the game and completely say the family does not affect you except for the fact that they exist. And every day you go home to them. And by the end of the game, I don't want to spoil any plot because I think people should play the fuck out of this game. There are choices you have to make between these two things, and they aren't really touching mechanics. They're sort of narrative based. Like, you can finish the game with the family not doing well, or with you not doing well with your job.
I said a minute ago that it's either something that.
But it's not irrelevant.
It seems to me it's irrelevant.
It depends whether you enjoy that. It depends whether you enjoy that story.
I think irrelevant is such a strong word. Irrelevant sounds like it doesn't matter what I do. But the whole point is, when you play a game like this, you will choose a side, and you will. It's not like you're one day going to be like, well, the family doesn't matter. You end up making these choices, and one of the great things about this game is that you get attached to it. And you feel what the results are.
In Hotline Miami, the storyline is irrelevant. I mean, like, I could sit down and I could watch it, and it's chatting to the dude with the such and such helmet, and I'm like, after a while, I'm just like, fuck it, just skip. Right. So I think if I was playing that game, I'd be like, fuck it, cold. Just let it be cold. It doesn't matter. Jesus,
no, I think those are two very different games.
It
maybe I'm in immoral gameplay.
No, I don't think you.
I think it just depends on how invested you become within the game.
But I also think that that Hotline Miami versus Papers, Please are very different games. Part of the mechanic of Hotline, none of the mechanics of Hotline Miami have to do with what people are saying. Yeah. Part of the mechanic is having to make a choice in Papers, Please about what happens to the family, how you distribute the minimal funds you get. The gameplay does force you to consider these people in a way that other games don't, and that's why the gameplay pushes you to this morality. I think it's good because it's up to you. It's moral. It involves your feelings, and it doesn't mean that if you do this choice, you can't finish the game. Right? This is the type of morality that I think games have the ability to actually make you think. I've talked about Spec Ops: The Line as well, and how you don't realize exactly what's happening in this brown shooter until you're like, oh shit. And these are examples of morality in games done right, where it's part of the experience of the game, but it's not like where your choices, because they seem like, I can do whatever, because it might seem like irrelevancy, or at least it doesn't change my utilitarian approach to the game, that I end up having this moral experience, this actual attachment in a way that games up till now haven't had to do. And I think that's one of the great things about gaming today, is that we're getting this level of maturity where people are thinking about what it means for these things to happen, not just on I want to be the best good guy, I want to be the best bad guy, or worst bad guy. Is the worst bad guy the best good guy, or is the worst bad guy
He's better at being bad.
He's better at being bad. He's definitely the best bad guy.
Yeah.
The worst bad guy?
Well, it's two senses of better, isn't it? Better as in morally better, or better as in better at being something.
So I'm saying, is the worst bad guy the best good guy, or is the worst bad guy the best bad guy?
No. The guy who's really terrible at being good might not be good at being bad. He might just be clumsy.
True.
Fair. Okay.
So, on
Anyway.
that
Yeah.
Aristotelian bombshell, have we got a free game to promote?
We do.
I'm assuming we will just pick the double IPA. It's just
Hey man, yeah.
anyone for the sour? No. Buxton, good though. Liked it. It
I
was
really
nice.
liked.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
really
the
liked
first three beers were really good.
variety of the beers.
the amber was. I remember it being quite coppery. The IPA, don't actually remember, but seem to remember saying vaguely good things about it. The double IPA, much nicer. Really good. Really
Yep.
liked it. We drink it all day.
Yeah, I think you're presenting.
I would drink that all day.
The clear winner. Free game of the week is Super Hot. It is superhotgame.com. It is there's a free prototype, and it's basically the premise of the game is it's a first-person shooter where time moves exceedingly slowly until you start moving. So time moves when you do. And it's only 3 levels as the prototype, but there's, you can support them, and they're moving closer to an alpha, I think. And basically, it's just, it is probably the closest first-person experience to The Matrix I've ever played. In that, like, if you just stop moving, bullets are barely moving. They have trails. You can choose to sidestep. Bullets will move closer. You can then choose to rejig yourself. It's just it's quite a lot of fun for such a little prototype, and I think a full-fledged game with thicker graphics. Because right now, the bad guys are just basically stick figure-esque
White models on
red models and
red.
gray background.
Yeah.
And but it's really good. And the last level is a little hallway scene, which is a little actually tricky, with 4 guys shooting at you as you progress through a hallway, and you have to dodge all their bullets. And you don't start with a gun, and you have to kill them all. Fun, super hot.
No moral choices.
No.
They're not real people. So
They're just dummies at the
Well,
moment.
mannequins.
Yeah. Mannequins
Their
that have
faces.
come to life.
Yeah, their faces on an animal.
Or they were animals.
Or animals, yeah.
People really
If
hate
they were
animal cruelty
animals.
in games, which will be next week. No, it's not next week's topic. Yeah.
Next week we're going to be in possibly a secret location.
Oh yeah, so possibly it's going to be Aadil's last
Bristolian.
podcast in the flesh with us as he's going back to Canada.
Possibly.
Canada.
Unless he comes back.
He
to
might come
the
back.
UK.
Oh, I'll probably come back at some point in the UK. But
Well,
So,
you
yeah.
will at some point for sure. But
yeah,
whether or not soon.
if I don't, something's gone horribly wrong. Switch west.
So we're going to go out on the road and go and film,
Ooh.
record on location.
Not
as
in a
such.
film sense.
Not in a film
record.
sense. Definitely just sound record in a film location. In a fucking out.
Start again. We'll start the whole podcast again. Start again. Fill the bottles up.
Anyway, yeah, we'll be out next week.
Yeah.
So
on a secret location.
we'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
next week.
Definitely.
So we're on an hour and 12 minutes. Let's just stop talking now.
Oh, well, first of all,
Or not. Or you can say another thing.
if you want to reach us,
Yeah.
you can reach us on
The
Facebook.
same way as you can every other week up till now.
Exactly.
This is their first episode.
At Hangtub_cast.
Well, if-
At Nova_47 for me. At the Omniarch for Aadil.
And
At
I'm still not.
Pigeon people for Alex.
Dig a tunnel.
I was-
Keep going. See if it
If
comes
Pigeon
up to my
People is not taken on Twitter, you need to just take that.
house. Pigeon people. Pigeon people.
Right. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.